My name is Jose. I graduated from DISP last year.
My name is Philip, and I was in DISP, and I completed DISP in March of 2020.
My name is John, and I'm a happy graduate of the DISP program.
My name's Alicia. I had a choice of, do I take jail time for however, I forget how much time there was. It was jail, fines, same, the typical with previous DUIs. It was my third DUI, and that's what landed me with this decision.
If someone were considering whether to come into DISP, I think the main suggestion that I would make is to get ready to be honest and don't fear being honest. If I weren't completely honest with the folks who are trying to help me, I'm not going to get the best help possible, and they're not going to know where I'm at and where to meet me at. So I think the biggest piece of advice I could give to folks considering it is come in with an open mind and be honest.
Getting a DUI is painful. I mean, we can play tough and act tough. We can say things like, oh, I can do 90 days behind my hands tied behind my back or standing on my head. But it's painful. I know it's painful for me, just knowing that, oh man, you did it again, right? Third one. Very painful. I said some very unhealthy things about myself and to myself. I won't say but, I'll say and. This program is set it up for if you are seeking responsibility, it's here. If you're seeking accountability, it's here. If you want to become successful and responsible and all these things, this program adds that to, it's in this program.
You can get away with stuff for a really long time, and then it will unravel, and and I think that's what happened. And I think that I was really careful, I'm not driving downtown, I only drink heavily every so often, I'm not waking up in the morning and trying to make these excuses. They're just excuses over how I don't have an alcohol problem. Having to make a choice between jail or DISP is really making a choice between, do I want to keep going down the same path, or do I want a real opportunity?
For me, the initial 3 months or 90 days roughly of DISP was sort of shocking. There's a lot of commitments that you have to make. There are meetings, there are UA tests, there are classes, there are courses, there's a lot going on. That initial 3 months was a little bit tough, but I did have folks who I could talk to and let them know if I felt overwhelmed about something, and we would try to find creative solutions around it. But ultimately, folks were willing to work with me as far as the timing.
You have to plan it out because you might miss the bus, you might miss the max. You have to have some sort of planner. I use my phone a lot.
Showing up, setting the alarms, setting 6 alarms, calling twice, just doing it. My perspective is it is absolutely better than jail. You will heal and you will find new things, and honestly, you'll get over it at some point, and then you'll end up realizing, again, just my experience, but all right, I can do this.
But being on time, answering phone calls, being honest, being open, being accessible, your life, being accessible to change, and being open to change. Everyone here is for your success.
I've came to times where I thought, that's impossible. There's no way that I can not use my drug or drink a choice. But it absolutely is possible. It's going to take some work, and that first 90 days, reach out for every bit of support you can, but be honest about your desires and your cravings, and cause that's what someone told me, and I felt like it was good advice, and that's exactly what I've done in the past.
If a mistake happens, of course this is going to happen. I'm not worthy. I'm going to get in trouble now. The judge is going to yell at me. My case manager is not going to want to work with me. My counselor is going to be annoyed, and that's not the case. Surprisingly, nobody's perfect. I sure, I'm not perfect and still am not perfect. And I don't even think that that's something to strive for.
You know, when you're a kid, you learn really quick. When you're an adult, you kind of have your ways set already. And my ways weren't the best, so. My criminal thinking led to a lot of my mistakes. It's just because I was trying to get away with it, because you don't want to get in trouble, you know, but not having that kind of thinking you wouldn't have that problem, so.
The process depends on what your mindset is. If you come in thinking you're gonna skate through it, thinking you're going to manipulate your way through it, it's not gonna happen. But if you come in thinking that, okay, I'm open for change, I'm open to learn, I'm open to tackle responsibility, to tackle my issues, address them, then this program is definitely a winner. Sometimes I don't like some of the meetings that I attend, but I do them because it's needful. You know, I don't like everyone that speaks at a meeting. I'm not into some of the stuff they're into, but it's needful. It brings about the change. See, there's a message. We don't look at the people. We look at the message. And the message is sobriety. The message is freedom from drugs and alcohol. The message is you don't have to be bound. You don't have to do prison, jail. You don't have to be locked up. You don't have to go to jail. You can stay free from alcohol and drugs.
I feel like I was able to establish a really good relationship with my case managers, and after that, I felt much more comfortable with being open and honest about what I thought and what I needed. I also worked well with my counselor in the treatment that I had to go to, and just like any relationship, those take time to build, even though they're not, you know, a regular friend relationship. And after I was able to start to get honest and I had some trust, I was able to really express what I needed. And when I did that, I was able to get more of, I think, more out of the program. For me, there are other reasons in my life that I think led me towards drinking. A lot of self-medication from my past. I have a pretty traumatic military history, and I chose to use alcohol as a medication for that for a long time. And after getting a few steps away from that and getting some help, it was much easier for me to continue that when I started to see benefits, when I started to feel better, when people around me started to notice that I looked better and behaved differently, you know, in a more positive way. And so keeping that going with a mental health professional for me has been pretty important, and that's definitely one of the things that I continue to do.
I found out that I wasn't just getting like treatment for substances, I was actually getting treatment and help of just being a whole person, and to just, you know, see my flaws not as always flaws or something that's, I don't know, I think it's just really, I've discovered that I was worthy of things and that I'm not broken and that my brain isn't broken, and it may have gotten jumbled up a little bit, but that we're all worth everything that we could. We're all worth it. We're just all worth it, and you're worthy of it, and I would take the chance.
I always remind myself to be proud of myself every day for doing it, because I'd spent all that time kind of just feeling pity for myself, and can't, you know. We just need a little bit of extra help and a different way of thinking. Look for the solution now instead of an excuse. So, yeah, with everything, not with alcohol or drugs or anything like that. With everything, just every aspect of my life has changed. But I still work a lot. That has not changed.
Something maybe could be different, and you don't have to just keep repeating the same story over and over again. So, yeah, that's something.
Ultimately, my goal and the goal of DISP were aligned, and that was sobriety, and that was to give me a chance to be sober. You know, no one can do it. No one could do it for me. This had to be for me, and I am ultimately very glad that I was given that chance, and I'm glad I followed through.
So again, this is John. I'm just thank you for listening, and get a reward for your pain. Thank you.